The men could be back-to-back. The 3-time Stanley Cup final appearance. Legends of South Florida. Elbow room regulars. Ice dominators. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Florida Panthers, Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah, Chucky.
Chucky, what's going on, man?
What's up, guys? What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me on again.
Hey, thank you for joining us. Congratulations on a big Eastern Conference Finals dub and heading back to the Stanley Cup Finals, a place that you guys have called home for the last 3 seasons now. Looking to go back-to-back obviously would be a big deal in a dynastic conversation. How do the boys feel? Do you feel more healthy this year, or is at this time of year everybody kind of feels the same exact way and you're just used to it?
Yeah, there's bumps and bruises along the way. Everybody's pretty banged up this time of year on every team, but, it's what's nice about, our team is the depth, and when guys have been in and out, we've been having guys that are able to fill in the spots, but, I would say we're, obviously knock on wood, but we're, pretty similar to last year with health going into it. So, we're confident, but, so is Edmonton, I'm sure. They're a hell of a team, and it's going to make for an incredible series, and not very often do you see a rematch in pro sports in the finals. So I think that it's the 2 best teams in the league, and to be honest, I think it's pretty clear that we're the 2 best, and it's going to make for an incredible final.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch you two get back to this point, obviously through the different roads that you've had. And you said it's been pretty clear that you two are the best teams. There's a clip coming out from you last year talking, I believe, to McDavid saying, we'll see you again next year, do the same thing or whatever, almost calling your shot. What is it about that Edmonton team? Obviously, we see McDavid. Obviously, we know Draisaitl, but they're just the same as you guys. They're fast. What do you think it is about them that makes you say we are the clear 2 best teams in hockey at this moment? You're obviously in the finals, back-to-back years. Everybody's going to talk about that. But what is it about their team that you have so much respect for?
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with them going back to my time in Calgary and seeing a lot of those players grow, playing against McDavid a ton. I think that's pretty much, when you're playing against the best player in the world, he's always going to give you a challenge each and every night. But, it's not just him. They're a deep team. They play really hard, both ends of the ice. Their goalie's playing incredible right now. I think a thing that's underrated with them is their defense. They make it, hard to get to the net. They block a lot of shots. All the stuff that you got to do to have a successful team. And they started the playoffs at, down 2 games to LA, and since then they've been 12-2. So that's 12-2 is incredible in the regular season. That's almost unheard of in the playoffs. So they're playing, the best hockey of the year so far for them, and it's going to be a battle for us. We're going up there to Edmonton to start, and they're like I said, they're 12-2 in the last 14. So we got our hands full. We're going to take that underdog mindset and mentality and go up there and try to do what we did last year, I guess.
Yeah, you have the experience. Obviously, you've been able to accomplish it. Hoisted Lordo last year. Did you see what Connor McDavid decided to do last night that caused quite a little bit of a stir in the hockey tradition and hockey tradition? I don't know, whatever. He lifted a Clarence Campbell trophy last night. Last year, they did not touch this particular trophy after winning the Western Conference, and they would go on to lose. So this year, they decided for him to touch it. Now, the crowd said, whoa, whoa, whoa. It was quite a reaction. You guys, I've heard, have done multiple different ways as well. Touched it, lost, didn't touch it, win. So what is the conversation? Is there a vote on whether or not we're going to hoist that thing after the conference finals, or how do we go about getting to that point where Connor McDavid did that last night?
I can't remember exactly how it went down 2 years ago when we ended up playing Vegas in the final, but I think just us as captains were talking, going back to that year, it was such an accomplishment, us being an 8 seed and kind of just getting into playoffs, and then kind of going on I wouldn't call it a miraculous run, but it was pretty close to it that year. And so we just decided at that time, we've earned this. Let's go. Let's touch it. Let's carry it around. Let's be proud of it. It didn't work. So last year we went with the not to touch it, and last year it was very similar to this year for us. It was kind of like that business it wasn't so much of an accomplishment where it was kind of part of the journey for us. So this year we just decided to do the same thing and And Edmonton, if we were in their shoes, we changed it up last year. They're changing it up this year. It's pretty natural for them to do that. I'm not surprised by it, but I think that's more of that creates a stir with you guys. With us, it really doesn't mean anything because
What?
The Stanley Cup's the final goal.
No, that all matters. What he did
Yes, it does.
it all matters.
Superstition.
We got guys around the country for your team, I assume, that'll wear the same shirt whenever they watch. And if they don't wear the same shirt, you guys will lose. And even though they've worn it during a loss before, they just didn't wear it the right way.
Yep.
That shit happens. Hockey, I feel like you guys have a lot of those, though. Superstitions?
There's some guys that are psycho with them. I am not one of them. I don't know how people could live their life like that. I'd be so stressed out. I'd barely sleep if I did that. So I think as the years go by, you get less. You're less worried about that stuff, and I know I am.
There's some.
Dan Hurley in his underwear.
Yeah, Dan Hurley wore the same underwear through the NCAA tournament. I mean, we've heard stories about some of the greatest of all time in hockey with how they have to operate on a day-to-day basis. For me, I got a chance to be around a couple guys in the NFL early in my career that had every day was a fool. We got to put left sock on, right sock on. We got to do this. We got to knock on this. We got to do this every single time. And I'm like, what if you don't do it? What's going to happen? Well, I'm going to get cut. And I'm like, so are we sure if you don't knock on this door here, you're going to not do your job well? Yeah, I'm not risking it. And then just building that up 10 years. 10 years of shit. How do you remember all the shit? To your point.
Yeah.
I would say
I'm okay with the routine. Like I've got a pretty strict routine, but once guys start changing it up after a win or a loss or whatever, and they start psyching themselves out, that's where I got an issue. I've got no problem calling guys out for it too. So I think our team does it pretty well too.
That's good leadership. Now let's talk about a new superstition happening down there in Florida. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, Matty, it feels like after every big win, you guys are just gunning rats at my beloved Brad Marchand. Hopefully he's appreciative of it. Treat him kindly, of course, as always. But I think it was you, Barkey, and Rodriguez at the end here after closing it out against the Canes. How did this come to be? Was it Marshy like, hey, you guys should just fire those things at me? That's going to get me all fired up after a win. Or how did you guys start this routine here?
I don't actually recall how it started because I wasn't playing in the regular season. Like I think Marshy came and he played probably 10, 15 games at the end of the regular season, and I wasn't in them. So I normally go out, I leave the ice second to last with Barkey after a win. And once I came to game one of playoffs, I know Marshy picked up a few rats, I think maybe for his kids or for people that were asking during the regular season. And then I think it started with Roddy. I think E-Rod shot the first one at him, and then Barkey was like, all right, well, if you're going to shoot one, then I'll nicely pass one into you. And then when I came back, we started firing them at him. So it's been a fun tradition, and people seem to like it, and it kind of fits what our team's all about: having fun and not taking anything too seriously.
Yeah, and him being a rat too. I mean, It's like a perfect him coming to your team seems like the perfect storm. It really does feel like he was built to be a Florida Panther. And now Boston Bruins fans hear that and go, hey, he was built to be a Boston Bruin. What are we talking about? But with the way your team is kind of pieced together, feels like he was a perfect addition. Culturally, obviously his style of play, the way you go about doing things, and also championship pedigree, which he has, which leads to this. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
I was going to say born to be a Bruin, but built to win a cup with the Panthers.
Oh, I like that. I like what you just said.
Absolutely. I like that too. I like it too.
Yeah, Tkachuk's like, I'll take that as well. Go ahead, Tone, though.
Yeah, on top of all that, Chucky, it feels like, before Marshy got there, maybe you and Sam Bennett and potentially some others were king of the pests on the Panthers, and now that Marshy's there, he is kind of taken that spotlight of teams who are dealing with him being the pest. Do you guys have a competition for who can rile up the other team more while you guys are on the ice, and who do you think is king pest of the Florida Panthers?
Ooh, that's tough. Man, I think that maybe changes from game to game and series to series. I think that, Marshy got a puck shot at him last round. So
yeah, that was why. Hey, let's talk about that. So that was
maybe
just.
He takes the title for that last round, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe this round will be different, but I feel like I got my money on Marshy. He's pretty good at that stuff, and it's nice because if people aren't worried about us doing it, we could just go out and play. So he's been a great addition, not only for that, but like he is such a good player, and people don't really see it too much. Like I get to see it every day, whether it's the games or practice. Like he is so skilled and so strong on the puck. And then like you said about him fitting in culturally, like I get he was the perfect Boston Bruin for a long time, but I don't know. He's almost born to be a Florida Panther the way he is, like on and off the ice. So we're very happy to have him.
Yeah, it feels like with the way your team is built, it is a perfect relationship, and the fact that the Bruins traded him there, I think, has made a lot of the Bruins fans go, "What are we doing?" So we're just sending the guy to make the champs even better, who would be perfect for them. You talked about him getting a puck rifled at him in the middle of a game. After he takes a shot at the guy, all right, we get a chance. That's fair play there. And then just moments later, old buddy at his own blue line shoots a puck at him out of nowhere, which obviously would turn to him going, "What? Are you serious?" Fighting, and then him getting kicked out, then him asking the refs if they know ball, basically saying that the refs didn't. What was your guys' reaction? Because afterwards, it seemed like everybody, even coach included, said, like, we have a lot of thoughts on this. We're going to keep them to ourselves. Everybody just thought that was like a Bush League type move in your guys' locker room. Was there a conversation about how we're going to handle this? Everybody kind of understand? Because it felt like the entire hockey world was like, that's not supposed to happen in hockey. That is not how this goes. We'll fight each other. We'll cross-check every once in a while. But firing this puck at somebody that close is just kind of not acceptable. Is that an accurate read on how everybody viewed it? And what was your guys' convo about it afterwards?
I don't know. It was pretty greasy, but I don't really know. Like, I definitely was staying away from Marshy after that game. He was fired up, so I had to let him cool off a little bit after that. But I don't know. It was kind of greasy, but I don't know. It's playoffs. There's shit that happens. That's way worse than that, and I don't know. It is what it is. Playoff hockey.
Yeah, but you guys didn't. I thought there was a potential 5-on-5 fight to start the next game.
Yeah.
Just take a stand. Obviously, that would be stupid because the penalties and everything that would take place in the Eastern Conference Finals. But the way you guys beat teams down, it's just like you guys are the bullies on the ice, and I think that's why Marshy going to the team is just so damn perfect. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're talking about Marshy.
Well,
but
you can't let that stuff take away from what's really important, and that's winning the game and advancing. Right now we're the with after that happening, of course we would love to go out there and stick up for a teammate in a situation like that, or at the start of next game or whatever. But you got to be careful the way you do it. Like, you can't let the big picture is winning, and you could take numbers and get them next year if that's what you want to do. But you can't let it get in the way of what's the goal right now.
You can take numbers and remember, hey, you remember Eastern Conference Finals? Yeah, a little bit more at stake then. Not able to necessarily do this right now. Mm-hmm. We are. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe not right now, but I mean, it happened with Aho while you were in the penalty box, Chucky. I mean, everyone saw you kind of look at Aho and point your head, and then at the end of the game, after it was kind of signed, sealed, delivered for you guys, I mean, you beat the brakes off him. It was awesome.
Yeah, Chuck.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that goes against everything I just said. But I don't know. I don't know. I've played with Rhino for a bunch of years. Hated to see that hit happen, and it knocked him out for that game. So, we were obviously very lucky. He only was out for one game, and we got him back in full force. But never like to see that happen, and the game was out of reach. So decided I'll take the 2-minute penalty to stick up for my teammate, and got kicked out of the game, and it is what it is.
Yeah, that's why we love your team and you. Just want to let you know. Let alone the national anthem booing. We're fighting right now. I mean, you are everything we like about hockey, Chucky. You need to know that. So even if you're lying to our face about how you're going to operate things, and then we counter it immediately, we will still love you, pal. Go ahead, Ty.
Chucky, how do you guys either like rattle or kind of get into Stu Skinner's cage when this next series starts? Because last year, the last couple years, that was kind of like, I don't want to say the downfall of the Oilers, but everyone was saying, like, hey, Stu Skinner's gettable if you kind of, get some momentum, get some, pucks on net and all that kind of stuff. Like, is there anything you guys need to do differently to kind of get inside his head when he has been standing on his head these last, you mentioned it, they're 12-2 since the opening 2 games of the playoffs.
I really think with Edmonton, like they've got the experience over the last few years where, you're not going to really do a whole lot that's going to mentally get in their head or whatever. I think you just have to keep sustaining pressure and shots and offense and continued physicality. Not obviously you can't be physical on him, but the rest of their team and I think that's how you just. I don't know if we can really get to them mentally by saying stuff or doing stuff, but I think our team's mindset is just try to wear you down. So even if you're up 3 and you lose the next 3, wear them down enough where that Game 7 you could win. So we have that Game 7 mentality, and we have it each and every shift in every game. And whether that's Skinner wearing down or whatever, I mean, he's been playing incredible from the games I've been watching the last couple rounds. So we're going to have to make sure our shooting's dialed in, and we've got a lot of guys in front of him to make sure he doesn't see it because everything he's seeing right now, he's stopping. So got to give him a lot of credit. He's playing great.
All right, let's talk about Bob. Also playing incredible. Feels like you got to have a hot goalie. He's always feels like he's just always standing on his head. Does this guy have feet?
He's incredible. He is our backbone. He's been our he's just been so reliable the last few years, and he's just a guy you really root for, like how he prepares, his routine, how dedicated to the sport he is, how great of a teammate he is, and just such a special human being. So we got a chance every night with him, and that's all you can ask for, and he's been absolutely incredible again for us this year.
Goalies weirdos?
Not him. He's incredible. He's awesome. I've played with a couple that are weird, but not our goalies.
Love this Panthers team. Good luck, bub.
Yeah.
Connor McJesus is flying right now. Mm-hmm. He's literally hovering above the ice. It feels like that's always happening, but obviously a hot Edmonton Oilers team taking on the reigning champs in the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. It's a beautiful thing. You're the man. Keep representing for all of sports, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah, Chucky.